Hey guys, we're gonna wire up this that Sunpro mini Tach there. Our dart here is in various stages of going back together. As you see, that Sunpro mini Tach lends itself real well to the rally dash. It kind of sits on the column right there in front of where the factory Tach would be. My rally dash is kind of cleaned up with paint. I don't have the fancy redone chrome plastic, but we got it good enough for a driver. That's a Sunpro mini Tach. So we're wiring that up. I'm going to show you some basic I'm going to crimp the connectors under the hood and shrink wrap them. We're going to go over that. So the green's going to go to the negative side of your coil. Black's going to a nice ground. Red's going to go to key on power, and then white's going to go to instrument lights. So we're going to get into making those wiring connections here today. All right, so what you want to do is you want to start with some good crimpers. These are Blue Points, I think. I had these since I was in the business. These have a nice angle on them. These are a snipper. That second one there is an insulated crimp, and then right here is your non-insulated crimp. And what I usually do is I'll crimp it with that, and even an insulated crimp I'll hit with that, and plus I'll come back and get it with that. And then I will cover the whole thing with shrink wrap and heat shrink and melt it down over it just for a little extra reinforcement. These are strippers. These are also Blue Point. I only use these for the strip feature right there. There's a crimper back here, but honestly, all the years in the business, you're not going to come over a wire like this and crimp. You want to get on the wire like that and crimp. It's quicker, it's easier. If you're under the dash with this and you got to bring this over a wire and crimp on the inside there, basically it's not going to work. Or you're just not going to get in tight spots with this. So you got, I believe there's a cutter here. There's a crimp there, and there's a spark plug. A spark plug wire crimp, 7/8 millimeter. Right there it is. I've honestly never used this side of this tool. I've only ever used a stripper. There's something going on here with these inserts. Screw this side. I think that's a screw size tool, to be honest with you. Right there in the, if anybody knows and wants to comment. But I've only ever used this as a strip wire. And you'll see there all the different gauges are there. But the short version is you want to get yourself a good set of tools. That's the tools that I've used when I was wrenching and doing electrical work in the business. All right. So there we go. We got one done for our negative side of the Tach. So that's a crimp with a heat shrink reinforced end. There's our ground. And as I said, this car has a new wiring harness from the firewall forward. So there's really not a lot of these type connections under the hood here. A lot of this stuff's all, I guess, professionally done or wire shop done, however you want to put it. But what we're going to do now is attempt to find a place for these connections. That one there might have been a little too small. I might have to, maybe go there with that. Or down to the bottom bolt. Underneath the ignition module there, just to get a body ground. That would work though, right there. This is going to go to the negative side of the Tach, which I believe is here. Right there. We'll get that hooked up, and then we'll go into the car, and we will do the red and white under the dash. All right, so our coil has a positive and negative on it. So our green lead is going to go on the negative side for our Sunpro Mini Tach. So I'm going to unbolt that and get that wired up. Okay, so what we did is we have the negative, or the green side going on our negative side of the coil. You can see the negative sign there. And we grabbed the body ground for the black wire on the bottom bolt. Oh, you can't see it. Anyway, I grabbed the bottom bolt of the ignition module up under here for a body ground for the black wire for the Tach. Now we're going to go inside. We're going to do red, key on power, and we're going to do the white is the lighting. All right, we're under the dash. Going to crimp this blade connector on. I'm going to tuck this in around a fuse. It's going to stick in. It's going to stick in like so. I'm just going to push it in to a key on power source. I've done it like that for years. We're going to see how it works. If it falls out or something, I'll end up splicing in. But right now, that's just the way I've been doing it since I was a kid. So I'm going to do the same thing. Right now, I'm going to try and splice. Show you the splicers. See, like so, you want to splice off maybe a half inch. Half inch might be a little generous. It might be more like a quarter, like that. Stick this over top, like so. And I'll probably just wrap these with black tape. All right, you know what? We'll get the heat shrink. I'm going to show you guys the heat shrink because my camera died out when I tried it under the hood. But as you see right there, you should see the copper coming through right at the end. I don't know, it's a little blurry, but yeah, there we go. There's copper coming through right there. I'm going to crimp it, and then we're going to heat shrink it. Okay, we're back. So I'm going to go ahead and do this heat shrink thing. This is inside the car. I like heat shrink under the hood. I think it makes a more reinforced connection, but we'll do it here just for demonstration. A lot of times what you'll do is you'll solder in heat shrink, but heat shrink also works with these connectors. So yeah, I'll slide that in. I don't know if you can see. You slide it in until the copper comes out. I can see the copper coming out right where my thumbnail is. And then I'm going to get in there with my crimpers. We're going to use the cutter, uninsulated. Insulated there and bare there. And I usually, I'll come across there, give it a good squeeze. Give it a good squeeze, and it crimps really nice. It's really a good tool. There's what the crimp looks like. See how the plastic's crimped, both sides. Sometimes you could give it a little extra with the uninsulated. I give that a squeeze. It does it up even more. So that aluminum in there is crushed down on that wire good. And you can give it a tug. It's not coming apart. Slide this over to about there. Got a Blue Point butane soldering tool. I'm going to show you how this works. This is a little heat hood. Get this thing lit up. I might just straight flame this, but this I've had this for like almost, I probably had this 20 years. I really like this basically it's a cordless soldering tool. I think it's a little low on butane. I'll get it lit up. Shake it. I'll be back. See that flame there? She's running out of butane. But she's lit. See that blue flame? And I'm just gonna barbecue this a little bit. You want to watch you don't catch nothing on fire. But there we go. And what you would do is leave this running and throw that hood that I unscrewed back on. But I'm doing this kind of quick. There's your heat shrink. Now you can use the big heat gun too with this, the one that looks like a blow dryer. But the thing is, you're going to try and hold the wire, and that heat gun's going to like fry your fingers because they get really hot, them heat guns. All right, so there's our solder and shrink rack demonstration. Now, here's an old connection I did with black tape years ago. I might take that tape off, put some new tape on it. I had this Tach running on this car years ago. So I think I tore this car down in the mid-2000s. It's taken that long to get it back, but we already have a connection on there. I'm going to go ahead and put new tape on that. I'm not going to redo that. I just did this one for demonstration purposes. All right, we've got a piece of tape. We're going to put over this older connection. I think with these Mopars, well, this car's a 70, so what is it, 52 years old? You're going to find yourself wiring repair a lot with these cars. I got other stuff to do. I got a new harness from the Firewall Ford. Everything under the dash and whatnot's original. But this is an aftermarket Sunpro Tach install. So like I say, white's going to go to the headlight fuse. And I'm just going to tuck this thing in behind the blade of the fuse. Going to tuck this one in on a key on hot source, probably the radio, whatever, something key on. I might even get up there with a test light and just touch the fuse, see which one turns on and off with the key. But other than that, this is how I'm going to run it for now. Later on, I might splice in, but this here's nothing. Don't worry about that green wire. Our green wire is already ran under the hood. We just got this white and this red to run into the fuse block for our key on power, and white is instrument lights. That's what we're going to do. All right, so I'm kind of twisted under the seat here, laying halfway in the doorway. This is what it looks like. I just got the red with the white sticking up into the fuse block. Just a way to get power. It holds up pretty good. I've been doing it like this for years if I need to grab power for a radio. Some people may not like this. I understand if you want to splice in. This is just how I do it. If it starts falling out driving or something, then I would consider splicing in somewhere more permanent, but this always worked for me. And that's our fuse block on our 70 dart swinger. As you see, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 fuses. 1, 2, 3, yeah, 5. Ain't much going on in these old cars as far as fuses. But the only thing left to do now is hook the battery up, see if the Tach works. Let's see what happens. Okay, here we are. I'm going to crank this thing over. I haven't started in a while, so let's see. Might have to prime the choke's wired open, so she starts rough cold, but it looks like the Tach's working. Get some gas in the carburetor. Bear with me here. What if it's out of gas? There she goes. Today's gas dries up, so if you start your car like this car, I might fire it up every weekend so the the gas dries up after about a week. And it's idling about 700-800. 650. I think I had it set at 750. Tax registered about 650, but let's see if we could get some illumination here. I don't know if you can see that or not, the lights work. So yeah, it's just a simple 4-wire setup. Negative to the coil, ground, instrument illumination, and then key on power. 4 wires. Red is key on power. White is dash lights. Black is ground. And green is your negative side of the coil, your Tach signal. So there it is, the Sunpro Mini Tach. Hope you guys enjoyed this adventure. It was a fun Sunday afternoon project.